don't we go ahead? Okay.
Yay.
It is 5:02 p.m. We'll go ahead and call the meeting of the Dover Water Task Force to order. Chrissy is going to join us in a minute to give us an update. Why don't we just do a little housekeeping? That way we get ahead of everything. We do have minutes that were circulated by Jeanette, I believe, from the last meeting.
I don't remember if I was there.
So you're saying we may not have a quorum
To
without
vote.
you.
I don't remember.
We did have a quorum the last meeting.
But if somebody has the minutes in front of them, they can see if I was there.
I think you came late, if I remember right. I don't
Okay.
have that.
You did come.
All right.
Yeah, you did.
Then I will vote.
Okay.
I will make a motion that we approve the minutes of the last meeting.
A second, please.
Sure, I'll second.
Andy second. And if any, is there any opposition to accepting the minutes? If not, they will be deemed accepted unanimously. Okay, housekeeping done. So while we're waiting for Chrissy to dial in, the two things we wanted is we just want an update from her tonight on how things are going and any issues she had. I think it's a good practice for us, kind of at least once a month, just to touch base with her and have this kind of meeting. Yeah, that's going to Corinthian. Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, the fire engine's rolling down. So anyway, so we have that, and then when Chrissy joins us, also want to discuss, there she is, if you can let her in, discuss kind of the schedule between now and the end, which is you know, hopefully around March, around town meeting, so we can discuss all that. So all right, Chrissy is with us. We do have one member of the public, that's Jim McDivitt. So I will open it for public comment. Jim, if you have any comments or questions, otherwise we'll jump into the rest of the agenda. I hear none. You are muted, but I presume you will unmute if you have anything. Otherwise, we'll move into the agenda. So the first item then on the substantive part of the agenda is to get an update from Dufresne Group on the status of the feasibility study. So Chrissy, turning it over to you.
Hey there. So I don't have a huge update for you. We're working on putting together some of the maps and stuff for the next presentation. I did just email Ken to get some more detailed. He had sent over some of the North Branch flow data, but I just emailed him asking for some more detail for that, just to better confirm our numbers. And I don't expect that it'll be much different than what we have, but just want to confirm that before we finalize it. So once I get that piece, we can finish up everything as we discussed last time. You know, a full build out concept is going to look, specifically for Westover, I would say, it's going to look very much like Phelps. And I think the alternatives are really going to come in with the phasing to make the more manageable projects that the town would be able to get some good funding for. So prioritizing and phasing is where we're focusing right now.
Okay. Chrissy, I'll ask, is there any, are there any process issues that you need input from any of the members of the committee to address for you, or questions you have that need answered from us?
Not tonight. I think you know, we had a good conversation last time. And I think we're good for now. If anything comes up in the next couple of weeks here, as we're trying to finish this up, I will email if there's anything urgent that can't wait. But yeah, nothing right now.
Okay, good. Does any member of the committee have any specific questions for Chrissy? Sarah?
So Chrissy, and I apologize if this has been answered in another forum, but in terms of if we're going to recommend phasing, is part of the recommendation going to be go in this order? Or is it going to be you can break it down into these phases, and then we would pick which phases were gonna be A, B, C, D.
I think there's an opportunity for both.
Okay.
So we can provide some prioritization of, maybe these are high priority phases, these are lower priority phases, but
Mhm.
allowing the town to kind of pick and choose what they have budget for, what they are funding for. Where is the support? Where is the need? Obviously high priority would have a higher need. There will be some level of, you have to do A before you get to B.
Right.
But that'll be all explained, if there's any sort of required sequence. But there will be some flexibility in it.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, why don't we move to the next item then, which is to get a sense of the expected schedule. Chrissy, I think we had roughly said we hope to finish this by town meeting. Do you feel like we'll still be in that position? And if so, could you give us some suggestion on kind of the key steps we have to have in terms of public meetings and when we think you might be ready for those?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I know that you had in the initial RFP that went out, you had wanted this completed by town meeting. We actually did our schedule a little bit tighter than that to leave us some wiggle room. So I do think we're still realistically going to end up, finishing this up before town meeting. So we will hit that for you. Our summer meeting got pushed back a little bit. And our next meeting per our original schedule was going to be in late November. Now me personally, my experience personally is that around the holidays is not really great for getting people to come out. So interested to hear from the committee if you want to do do you want to shoot for a meeting between Thanksgiving and Christmas, or do you want to go to early January?
Okay, I'll
This
open it
Like
up to
the
them.
alternatives meeting where we present alternatives.
Right, this would be a public meeting where you're presenting the alternatives and kind of your preliminary, would it be fair to say preliminary conclusion, is that? Maybe I
Yeah,
should step back and say, what's the agenda for that meeting? So we have,
I mean, primarily it's looking at, here's all the alternatives we came up with, but considering what we're looking at in terms of alternatives, which is really phasing, I think we could have some preliminary conclusions at that point. And we'll also have some preliminary numbers. I have to think about how to do that, but we'll have some preliminary numbers to talk about also. So that would be the next meeting, and then we have that would be public meeting number 2, and then we have public meeting number 3, which would be our final.
final report.
And that would precede town meeting or be part of town meeting.
So we had it as happening before town meeting, I think, or maybe it was to be determined based on what the town wanted to do.
Yeah. So let's talk about the scheduling of the meeting of it's really you're presenting options, maybe a little bit of conclusions with the goal of getting feedback from the community members. Is that fair?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So my thought would be, I don't think we should schedule it. Well, let me rephrase that. We as a committee need a chance to review that before we go public with it. So realistically, looking at the holidays, do we have time between now and say early December to do that? Chrissy, what do you think?
Let's see.
Or even mid-December, frankly, right, Randy? Before we get into the Christmas thing is what you're saying.
I think you'd want to have it ideally the first week of December,
Yeah.
second week, maybe, third week, now you're going to lose people.
Yeah, right. Then the first 2 weeks of December, we'll say.
Yeah.
And how much time would the committee want to review before we have a public meeting?
Well, again, you're looking at holidays, so we'd have to review it, I think, before Thanksgiving. to realistically have an early to mid-December meeting.
Were you asking how much time we wanted in the meeting or how long before we could have it?
So I think the way we were setting this up was we would have a task force meeting. Like we would get you the information, you know, the draft information, then we would have a task force meeting to discuss, and then it would be presented at a public meeting.
Right, so, right. So Randy, I kind of think of it, maybe it's the other way around. I mean, she'll send us the presentation before the meeting. She'll walk us through the presentation. We'll have a chance to chew on it and ask any questions, but the meeting would be kind of the back end of that, if you will, right? And then from there, unless we give her some substantive comments and changes at that meeting, she would be ready to go to that next meeting, the public presentation. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, that seems like the right way to do it. In other words, we don't want to come in cold to a meeting and look at it for the first time on a meeting like tonight with Chrissy. We want to have it to review. That part I get.
Yeah.
So Chrissy, what's realistic for you guys to do that?
To have I just lost my schedule there.
The meeting with this committee,
The pre-meeting meeting.
pre-meeting, yeah,
And to have materials prepared before the pre-meeting.
right.
Yes, so I'd want to have you guys have a chance to see it before we talk about it at a meeting, which means, I need a better calendar here. Right, November. Okay, so Thanksgiving week is the week of the 24th.
Yeah.
And remind me again, when are your regular meetings?
Wednesdays.
5 p.m.
Yeah, Wednesdays, so it's the second and fourth Wednesdays,
Okay, so that would be the second Wednesday then, would be your,
the 10th.
Wednesday is the 12th, November.
Oh, I'm sorry, wait, I'm looking at my calendar squished here, that rolled into December, so, yeah.
So November 12th?
so that would be your next meeting, and then your fourth week of the month would fall on the day
The day
before.
before
Day
Thanksgiving.
before Thanksgiving, which might be rough for a lot of people.
Yeah,
So,
I'm off that whole.
We could always have a special meeting either on December 3rd or meet on December 10th, which would be our regular slot, and then maybe kind of by Thanksgiving, you've gotten to us, or certainly by the 1st of December, let's say you've gotten to us kind of whatever your presentation is going to be, so we have a chance to go through it before the meeting. Would that make sense?
Yeah, I think that would make sense if I got it to you by, let's say, December 1st at the latest. We had a meeting on December 3rd.
We could do the 3rd or we could do the 10th.
Well, this is the meeting before, so then we'd be talking about doing it in public in January.
No, right, and then
If we did that.
so the 10th is our regular meeting day.
Right.
If we want to do that,
I'm not available that night.
what's that,
I'm not available that night.
on the 10th?
That's right.
Oh.
I-
Okay,
I actually think we'd be better off having a meeting maybe the first week of January. I don't know, but nothing in that time period looks perfect, you know?
We're trying to, so we're talking about scheduling two different meetings, right? We're kind of talking over each other.
pre-meeting.
So if Chrissy had everything to us and we could meet with her on
December 3rd.
no,
Oh, November 27th
I'm saying November
or whatever.
19th, which is not a regular meeting, but if we don't have one on the 5th, or don't have one on the 12th,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So what would the November 19th look like? Is that too much of a gun to your head?
Well, November 19th actually doesn't work for me because my son has a doctor's appointment in the afternoon.
Gotcha.
Okay. I mean, there's nothing that says we couldn't do it on another day, but I mean, sticking to Wednesdays kind of makes it easier for people because we figured out that that's what works for most people's schedules.
Mm. So if the deliverables were to us by the 1st and then we met on the 3rd.
That could work.
And
Yeah,
then,
that works.
and
And
then
then,
we'd schedule January 7th for the public meeting, which is the first Wednesday.
Let's just look. is there another meeting the night of the
I
7th?
actually like that plan more than trying to do the public meeting in December.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dan, you're nodding a little bit. That sounds like that makes sense to you. Okay.
So first for deliverables, third for a meeting, seventh for the public. Is
So
that where,
a regular December meeting would be the 10th. Why not
correct.
just keep that?
I can't come.
Sarah can't be there for that.
Uh,
Obviously, I'm one spoke in a very big wheel. and
No, but you're an
totally
important.
non-essential. But yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, I'm still gonna have all the materials to go over it, and if I get my act together and am responsible, I can get Patrick any questions I have.
Yeah,
I kind of like the idea of keeping our regular meeting because we're not asking too many people to gyrate
Mm.
around the schedules.
Well, I'm also concerned about getting materials on December 1st and having them preparing for a meeting 2 days later.
Yeah,
That is
If-
pushing.
And I can get you the materials like the Friday before, so you have the weekend and a few days.
Well, the Friday before is the day after Thanksgiving.
let's stick with the 10th. I think that makes the most sense. That we're not asking, the people who aren't here are already expecting, well, we might have a meeting that night too.
Yeah.
And so we're not throwing that off.
So if we said the deliverables were the 3rd,
Yeah.
so we have a week to digest it?
I was just going to suggest that. I think that makes sense.
Do the
Christie,
3rd.
does that work for you?
Yeah, December 3rd, meeting on December 10th, public meeting on January 7th. Yeah.
Yes, we can do that.
Yeah. And that Jan 7 would be a special meeting. It wouldn't be our regular meeting, but I think that makes sense to do it the 7th.
And that may actually be an afternoon, probably. Or you think,
No.
no, we want to do that in the evening?
I think it should be closer to like 6.
Okay.
Cause if we want people to come, well, actually, we have a member of the public here, Jim. What do you think would be a good night for us to do a public meeting and time?
Jimmy there?
I don't particularly care.
Okay. Well, I'm asking kind of as a member of the public, do you think Wednesday at 6 o'clock is not unreasonable?
I don't think it's unreasonable.
Okay.
I think you eliminate a lot of weekend people though.
So do you think we should have something closer to a weekend so second homeowners could come?
If you think they're gonna vote.
Well, they're not gonna get a
They're not gonna be allowed to vote,
vote.
Well,
but they may want
It
information.
may be useful in terms of communication.
Well, if we set it up so it's Zoom too,
Oh, yeah, true.
right?
We would set it up so it's Zoom so they can do it, and this is not the final presentation. I would argue that definitely we might consider that Jim's point for the final presentation. Because then we really want to make it so that, look, everybody who's got a question or wants to see. You know, and that'll be at a time of year where there might be a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Is the January 7th meeting going to be at the town hall?
Yeah, if we're gonna-
Tentatively, yes, I'll have to double check and make sure it's open. I will get back to you on that.
Okay.
Chrissy, I don't have a pen. I hope you wrote that down. Would you mind just when we're done, just send me an email confirming all those, the times?
I wrote it all.
Yeah. Truck's back in. Okay, does anybody else have any questions or concerns about that schedule? So what I will do then after this meeting, I will send an email out to everyone and say, look, here's what we agreed. I'll poll the entire group to see if anyone has any issues that we haven't thought of with respect to that schedule. And unless there are major substantive issues, that'll be the schedule. And then Chrissy, look ahead. We don't need to set this yet, but I think we need to look ahead and think about a time for that final presentation, end of February, I guess, sounds like.
Sure. Yeah, we can talk about that at our December meeting or.
Yeah.
About that.
Pre-town meeting is gonna be February 24th,
February
Just-
right? It's usually 1 week before, right, Randy?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and actually just looking, our regular schedule would have us meeting on the 11th of Feb. That's not a bad day to have the final public meeting either.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, if we want to encourage second homeowners, isn't the week of President's Day a vacation week and everybody's here?
yeah.
So you're thinking the 18th or the 17th?
I'm thinking we have a conversation about it.
I think
Not
that's
right.
good. I don't think you're wrong to suggest that. We need to have a further discussion about it with more
Yeah.
members present.
Give it some thought.
Mm.
So possibly February 18th.
I will-
January, yeah.
February 18th.
February 18th. Is that, yeah,
Possible.
you could say it's the 16th, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, all right.
I am gone from February 21st to the 28th, so doing it before then would
The
be.
24th.
So it's gotta be sometime that week, okay.
Well, it could, I mean, the 11th could work for her but the 18th would give us potentially a larger audience.
Yeah.
Right?
Chrissy, can you kind of pencil in the 11th or the 18th, just so we can plan?
And that would be for the
Second-
public,
For
Second
the
public meeting?
Public meeting, the whatever.
That would be the third public meeting,
third-
the
Sorry.
pre-town meeting.
yes, got it.
So ponder both of those dates. Pros and cons, and then please include that in your email to me so that I can circulate that. Okay, does anyone else have any questions or comments or thoughts about the schedule? This is good. This is good. All right. Hearing nothing else, does anyone else have any other matters to go before the committee tonight? All right, hearing none. It is 5:24 PM. Can I ask for a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a second. That's Randy, is the second. Okay, meeting is adjourned at 5:24 PM. Thank you all. Have a nice evening.